The Ghoul, or Al-Ghul in Arabic, is often in games and Western media portrayed as a kind of flesh-eating undead or some sort of possessed thrall of some malicious power like a vampire, often though considered a sort of weaker, subservient undead. In contrast, the original Ghoul of Islamic traditions and Arabic folklore was a Genie, a magical creature, rather than a sort of undead or possessed human, though the Jinn are among the creatures most likely to actually possess a human. Ghoul is from the Arabic verb ghala, to seize, to destroy, to kill, and ultimately from the root Ghain, Waw, Lam, which for example is used also to create the word Ightala, to be assassinated. It is thus more a description of a Genie that is out to kill, and can thus be any type of Jinn and have any reason for being out to kill, but not necessarily eat its victim like most portrayals in Western fiction, as Jinn can be both good and evil, just like humans, and so the reasons for going out to kill someone can be anything. A Ghoul can hunt humans due to sadistic glee and sport, and in order to devour them as a flesh-eating monster. But it can also be because the Genie in question actually has legitimate grievances, and folktales about deals with the Jinn having gone wrong and a party running away from payments are not uncommon, and thus the Jinn seeking revenge by trying to kill this part in the deal. Another cause for a Genie to pursue a human and be out to kill them is that the human has desecrated some sort of holy site, usually a graveyard, tomb of an important person, or a mosque, or broken some sort of sacred vow. The Genie, the Ghoul in this case, is a sort of holy avenger on a jihad, and not necessarily an evil entity, and could actually be seen as a kind of guardian of important holy sites, and a punisher of sinners. And this is a positive connotation to the Ghoul or Al-Ghaul that don't actually really exist in Western adaptations of the concept. As the Ghoul is a Genie, it can take lots of varied shapes, as the Jinn can usually shapeshift into a lot of various forms. Animals such as owls, snakes and foxes are the most usual. In fact, the howl of an owl is seen as a sign of death and bad omens, as it usually means that an evil Ghoul is out to kill someone. A Ghoul can appear in both male and female shape, as Jinn can be both male and female, and can change their sex through magic. But in many tales, the Jinn usually appear female to lure male travelers to them and to devour them if they are evil. But the Jinn can also assume shadowy and monstrous forms too, and as indicated by the fact that Jinn comes from a word root that has a meaning of being hidden, a Ghoul can of course also become invisible and stay hidden and assume forms that are not easily seen. And Jinn can usually also take the form of humans. Though, depending upon the type of Jinn, certain traits can still be noticed even if they are in human form. For example, animal traits in human form, as there is a very common folkloric view that there exists Jinn called Hin that comes from a root connected to desire that take animal forms or half forms between animals and humans, and especially Hin in fox forms are known to take the form of extremely beautiful women with fox-like traits such as fox ears or foxtails that they try to hide. These will appear as extremely beautiful women in order to lure people into the desert, to either kill them by summoning sandstorms or kill them in various ways more metaphysically, such as by sucking out the soul or by causing lethal dehydration by other means, such as through blood-sucking or in taking the souls and bodily liquids in some other ways, which are not appropriate to mention on this channel, and I will not go into detail about. But let's just say that it's XXX rated. In any case, these can be discovered for the malicious creatures they are through seeing their fox-like traits, as they usually have, for example, still a foxtail or fox ears that they will try to hide through various ways. And if you see that they still have these features, you have discovered that this is a genie, and it might not have good intent. It might be out to kill you, and thus be a Ghoul, or Ghula, as that is the female form. But animal-like jinn are not the only jinn. Other jinn, such as the Ifrit, which are Islam and Arabic folklore's version of fiery devils. Being creatures of fire, can also smell of smoke, and fires are lit or agitated in their presence, as they affect the flames around them. And if you are in their presence, you will feel a smell of burnt death if they are evil, due to the fact that they often live around the dead burnt bodies of their victims, and the smell from those victims still lingers upon them. You can also detect a jinn by their weakness or fear of water, as in certain traditions, jinn can't cross running water, such as rivers, or they will drown in water or be severely weakened when in contact with water, and thus bringing water close to them might scare them. In addition, religious Islamic purity and religious piousness makes the jinn avoid you, though this is only applicable to evil jinn. If the jinn is pious himself, he will not fear it, but then again, he will thus not be out to kill someone without reason then, and he will be an example of a rule that is out to actually kill some sort of evildoer. Though, by showing repentance and praying for forgiveness from God, this rule that is pious might actually show mercy. But anyway, in most cases, if the rule is evil, reciting the Quran, especially Surat Al-Fatiha, forces the jinn away, and this is usually the most surefire way to divert away an evil genie. Since a genie is a living creature, it can also be killed by relatively mundane means, and jinn in various folkloric tales and in various Islamic traditions have died due to such as having been hit in the head by thrown rocks or been slain by swords. For example, there is a tradition about Ali, the son-in-law of Muhammad, having killed a genie by cutting the genie with a sword. However, the jinn and thus Ghul range from barely stronger than humans, as not that impressive magical creatures, to being creatures that are almost cosmic in power. So there is really no common baseline here, as you can go from something that is barely more of a threat than a human being to something that is a force of nature that you will never be able to challenge directly in these various traditions. So a rule is not necessarily a weak creature, and these jinn that are evil and out to kill can sometimes only be hurt by someone of true Islamic faith reciting the Quran and trying to do a sort of exorcism of the jinn. But when these almost all-powerful jinn are out to kill someone that is evil, these are more or less indomitable creatures that will chase evildoers to the ends of the earth and never stop, and are thus more or less a force of nature acting on behalf of God on earth. The jinn are not confined to any time of the day or night, as they can be active on both day and night, though evil jinn are especially active when the scorching heat of the sun is at its strongest, and or when the night is at its darkest, depending upon myth and story and or tradition. And the jinn that are out to kill someone have several ways to kill their victim. They have strong magic generally, but especially fire manipulation and the transforming into or the controlling of animals to kill other people is also a possibility. Traditions about jinn also speak about them controlling the weather, causing droughts and heat stroke to their victims. And there are also stories about various jinn straight up physically murdering their victims, using weapons or just pure brute physical force. Though it should be said that a lot of jinn are a lot more subtle in both magical and mundane means. As again, jinn have connotations with being hidden, and jinn are intelligent and often ancient creatures, sometimes far more intelligent than most humans. So in the various traditions they utilize subtlety and trickery and being hidden from view as they manipulate and seduce humans to their doom and demise. Especially Ifrit, that are referred to as shayaatin or satans, are known to do this. Ifrit being the kind of jinn that Iblis or the devil was of in Islamic traditions. And the jinn are also associated with poison and disease, with possession and driving people insane to suicide. Insanity is generally associated with jinn, as the word majnoon literally means jinn possessed, but also means insane in Arabic. Insanity through possession or giving off an aura of fear or unease is also not uncommon regarding jinn, as a strong evil jinn's presence is enough to drive the most brave men into near terror. And speaking about abilities, as genies are also in the traditions known for their wish granting abilities, and there are traditions about wish granting jinn that will simply interpret wishes in such a way that they cause enormous death and destruction, twisting the wishes made. And the reason as to why certain jinn are forced to do wishes is that they were caught by Sulaiman, King Solomon, according to certain traditions, and forced into objects such as rings, lamps and bottles. And the humans possessing these objects became the masters of these powerful jinn that Solomon had caught and forced into these objects. Just as God intended, as God
commanded
the king of the jinn, Iblis, to bow before Adam, he has forced other jinn to bow to humanity, through the prophet Solomon having caught them and forced their subservience. Though this does not mean that all of these genies have been completely broken, and thus stories about jinn that misinterpret or pervert wishes, killing people, are not unheard of. With all of these things said about ghouls, which are jinn that are out to kill, a ghoul is not a weak, shambling corpse creature, but a living creature that should be considered a mighty creature.
Please do subscribe, as it would help the channel spread awareness about the humanities.
اشتركوا بالقناة في مثلكم.